Hey basketball players, today I'm going to talk to you about how you can play shooting guard in basketball. Now really quickly, the shooting guard position is starting to really combine and amalgamate into just a guard position, whether it be point guard or shooting guard. It's starting to become essentially the same position. In the past, what a shooting guard was supposed to be really good at was obviously shooting, hence the name shooting guard, but also being able to still dribble, being the backup of the point guard, but generally the point guard still was the one who handled the ball and handled the plays. Shooting guard was just basically the backup of somebody, of a point guard in the full court press, that kind of a thing. And he also needed to be really good at being able to stop other shooting guards from scoring, knowing the angles on how to take away shots, knowing how to get around screens, how to stop players from shooting off of screens. And then also the shooting guard needed to really know how to come off of screens himself and use screens to be able to get himself open for obviously 3-point shots or mid-range shots. We're going to be covering that today, but we're also going to be covering what the future looks like for the shooting guard position. Let's get down to it. Now, I am going to be covering this part in a future video, but I'm going to be giving you the basics right now, and that is to come off of a screen. So basically, if your defender, when you're coming off of a pin down screen, which means the player's coming down to set a pin down, which means he's setting a screen down for you, and you're coming off of that screen, if your defender goes over the screen, which means that he's following you around the screen, what you need to do to shoot is to plant that inside foot, turn, and now you can shoot, making sure that you're really trying to get close to your screening player so that there's no room between him and you for your defensive player who's going over the top of the screen to follow you around or to stay on your waist. Now, if your defender goes underneath the screen, which means that he doesn't follow you around, but he's going the opposite direction around the screen to essentially cheat. To be able to shoot off of that, what you want to do is catch that ball, plant that right foot. You're going to go left, right, and up. Basically, you're coming around that screen. You're seeing him go under, and then you're going to go in the opposite direction as him so that you can take that shot and he's stuck way over there. Now, if you tend to get caught on a travel on this, that's totally okay. Dribble over and then take that shot. But by dribbling, that allows you to do stuff like step backs and jump stops that allow you to get even more space. And what I mean by that is there's a whole extra 2 to 3 feet that you just created by doing that. Now, just like the name implies, shooting guard, you're going to be shooting the ball a lot. That is your position. One of the most popular plays right now is for a shooting guard to cut along the baseline. The baseline is this end line and getting screened by 2 post players. And you can go between or underneath those 2 post players, hoping that your player gets caught on one of them. Or you can snake your way through, going underneath closer towards the baseline on one, and then snake your way around this defender, because now your own defender is going to be following you around that screen. And because of that, now you can snake your way through, go on the right side of this screen, and now hopefully your defender gets caught up on him. And then you'd be popping out for a wing 3. Now that's a really popular play. I know when I run as a coach a 5-out or a triangle, that is definitely something that's part of my offense. And it's very worthwhile knowing how to use 2 baseline screening players, or a staggered screen it's also called. Now, being able to shoot really well is very important, obviously, because just like the name implies, it's a shooting guard. So some basics on shooting. I've got too many videos on this channel on how to shoot a basketball properly. I even have some breakdowns of how NBA players shoot, so you can go and check those out as well. But some of the basics that help a lot of players shoot a straight shot is to have your elbow pretty well underneath that ball. This is your aim. If this is straight up and down and this part of your arm is facing towards the net, you're going to have a very high possibility of having a straight shot. Now, the other thing is to have the ball go off your middle finger. That's also very important. If it goes off those 2 right fingers, That's not going to be straight, same as the pointer finger. That's not going to be straight, has to go off the middle finger. That's going to allow you to have a straighter shot. And then at that point, you just have to play with distance, which is your legs and the amount of arc that you put on the ball. So if you find that your shot is straight but always consistently short, you need to have more legs, which means that you need to jump higher on your shot. And if your shot is always long, going over the backboard, hitting the backboard only, hitting the back of the rim, you need to have more arc on your shot, and that means by releasing that ball a lot higher. Now this next point is a really good thing for players like myself who are 6'2". So if you're 6 foot, 6'2", this is actually an actual good thing. So historically, a shooting guard was 6'4" to 6'7", good at shooting, good at slashing, good at driving, but mostly good at shooting. And that's all great, but now the NBA and other professional leagues around the world are actually getting down to a point of trying to pick faster, more agile players for the shooting guard position. And this can be good for players who are my height, because I played a position that was called swing guard when I went down to the States in the D League. And basically what that means is I could play shooting guard or point guard. It was kind of ahead of its time in a way, the swing guard position really was. And basically you're really looking at somebody who can handle the ball. So in the future, I see this happening more and more often. We see it with the Raptors right now, where Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet are playing side by side, and they're both 6-foot guards. And they change where one could be a point guard one play, one could be a shooting guard the next play. Both players can shoot, both players can handle the ball, both players slash and cut towards the rim, drive towards the rim, and they can both finish over bigger players. So these are all aspects that you really want to incorporate into your game. So being able to handle that ball with your head up is very important for the future of this position. Also, being able to see the court, being able to see what defense the other team is running, because when you're up here and you're calling, let's say, play number 4, and play number 4 is a zone offense, but you're playing against a man-to-man defense, that's not going to work out all that well. So you need to know what type of defense the other team is running. Also, you need to be able to really quickly pass off of one hand, because the higher level you go, it's going to be less and less of a chance that you're going to pick up the ball and then pass it. You're going to be coming off of a screen sometimes, seeing a baseline cutter and pass with the one hand right off of a dribble. So to be able to practice passing, it's actually very simple. All you need to do is get a couple of pieces of cardboard or plywood or whatever, and if you've got a fence or a brick wall around, you can literally be coming off of a fake screen. You can have a pylon coming off of that screen, and then try to hit one of the targets that you've made on that cardboard or that wood. And then for those players who are going to be playing with players who could dunk in the upcoming year, what you need to do is to try and do the same exact thing, however, hitting the bottom right corner of the basketball backboard. Now that's going to allow you to be able to set up alley-oops like crazy. If you can set up, especially at the high school level, a pass that hits the bottom of the backboard to somebody who can alley-oop the ball at the high school level, you're going to be able to set them up a lot when it comes to alley-oops. Or if they can dunk like Dwight Howard, top of the square out towards the right of it or left of it, and they'll be able to hit it. But at the high school level, that's really rare. Try to aim for the bottom of the backboard. Now, I hope that this video helps you become a better shooting guard in basketball. If it does, hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys again next time. Go check out my vertical jump training book in the link in the description below.